Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. They said there's something so special about albums with black and white covers. So I will say this, I need to give Adele 21 a re-listen. So, that's contingent. So I will say that. But out of all these, I definitely got to go with Dangerous Woman, Ariana Grande. Into You is one of the best pop songs of all time. I Don't Care. And I Don't Care is also a great song. That's conversely. And then I also really love Sometimes, of course. Be Alright, I think, is an underrated track on this album. Yeah, there's just a lot to love about it. So I have to have that. Number 2, I'm going to give it to iamsashafierce by Beyonce. Hive would say it's her worst album. I do agree with them. However, out of these, I do revisit it fairly enough because I really love Hello. I think that's very underrated. Diva, The Hit That You Are. And then also Halo. I know it's overplayed, but that's one of my favorite Beyonce songs of all time for sure. And then you also have Disappear, which is a great moment on the song for sure. Single Ladies, yeah. Is it potentially overplayed? Sure. But I still do really enjoy it. So, we have a good mix of the ballads and up-tempos. Now, there are some songs I don't really care for. That's Why You're Beautiful, Satellites, kind of put me to sleep. But, I do revisit it a fair amount, so I'm going to go with it. Number 3, and probably the best one out of these 3, is going to be Lorde, Pureheroine, because this was her debut album. She released this when she was, 16? And the fact that she had the smash hit in Royals definitely says a lot about her as a songwriter, so I got to give her a 10s there. Team was also a hit for her as well, which I really quite enjoyed. Buzzcut Season is my favorite song on the album. I can appreciate the subject matter, how she went about it, and yeah, there's something so cinematic about it, so it's definitely my favorite song on the album for sure. No Better was like an iTunes exclusive track, but it's finally out now. I really enjoy it. A World Alone. Ribs is like the most popular song of this album, among the fans, and rightfully so. The fact that she was so young and already had so much wisdom, kind of talking about what it's like being a teenager and, wanting to grow up at the same time, kind of being scared of what that kind of entails for you, and also just writing a lot of catchy songs as well, so shout out to her. 400 Deluxe is also a favorite for me off this album, so definitely gotta go off of that, I will say. And so those are going to be my top 3 out of this. Now, they also did quote retweet it, and I said in case you still had any doubts with a couple more picks. So out of all of these, which one am I still going back to? Mariah's is a greatest hits album, compilation kind of moment there with a couple of new tracks. So part of me, it kind of doesn't feel fair to include it in my top 3. So Adele 25. Step Up to the Mic. Yeah, I really love this album. Remedy was a great song. Water Under the Bridge was a really great song because I feel like Adele doesn't really do up tempos that often. So when she does, it kind of stands out to me. When We Were Young, absolutely. All I Ask was a great moment on this album. Send My Love to Your New Lover. Ooh, talk about an Adele up tempo. She was on fire in that studio. Hit after hit after hit. She sold 3.2 million in the first week of this album. It was something serious for Miss Adele. And I gotta give it 10s. I'm sorry, she ate. Number 2 out of this, I'm definitely going to have to give it to Taylor Swift Folklore because this is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I love The One. Cardigan and Last Great American Dynasty is my favorite song of this album. And then, of course, you have My Tears Ricochet, which is one of her best track 5s. Invisible String is definitely a favorite. Kind of a great song about fate in that respect. Peace is very underrated for sure. So, yeah, a lot of great pickings off of this. Mirrorball, I forgot to mention as well. So, yeah, I think it's her best album in terms of songwriting. I think it's a very cohesive effort. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention The Lakes as well. So, yeah, that's going to be my number 2 pick. Like I said, I really don't think it's fair to count Mariah's compilation album just because, it doesn't actually have, a lot of new material. So that's why I'm not going to include this. I don't know why they didn't do Daydream. If they would have done Daydream, that definitely would have been my top 3. Because of the reasons I said, I'm not going to pick that one. So out of this, I just recently did listen to Christina Aguilera Stripped. And I honestly can say I enjoyed the album. It does have some skips. That Source song absolutely was not it. And there was 2 or 3 other skips I had on this album. I think this album would have been better if it was cut down to 15 songs. But, Fighter is a great Christina song. I'll give her that. She has a song called Walk Away on this album that I also really did quite enjoy as well. And so, yeah, I really did enjoy it. I think that, Christina did what she set out to do with this album, which is a lot of people wanted her to be basically Britney Spears Part 2. This album, she said, I have more to give than that. And that's what she demonstrated for me. And so, gotta give it there. Beautiful is overplayed. I don't really need to hear that song again. I'm going to be honest with you in regards to that. But whenever Christina does well in this album, she does well. So, I'll give it to her. Honorable mention, I'm going to give it to the Justin Bieber album Purpose. Because I used to stand Justin Bieber. I've talked about this multiple times before I knew what stand it was. And this album, it was my holy grail. It really was. I think that this is a great album, and I feel like there's so much more he could have pushed artistically after this album, and unfortunately, he gave us songs like Yummy. So that's why Justin Bieber is, you know, someone that I'm not really looking forward to hearing from. That song alone. So, you know, I'll give it there. But yeah, there we go in terms of my top 3 out of this. Let me know what you guys are thinking out of this. The Lana Del Rey album wasn't for me. You guys know how I feel about Reputation. I've yet to listen to Born This Way, though I should this next year. But let me know your thoughts on both these down below in the comments. What is your top 3? Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree with me? Would love to hear from you.